My name is Andrew Summerich. I'm Head of Learning here at Ed Microlearning. And what we're really excited to do today is to introduce you to some brand new lab features that we've got to preview for you today. I'll briefly begin, and I'll hopefully not take up too much of your time, with a brief introduction to the platform. So let's talk a bit about what the role of a traditional instructional designer in e-learning is. And what we say here is that you have to wear a lot of hats. You have to be a subject matter expert, you have to be a teacher, but you also have to be a user interface or user experience designer. You've got to be a tester, and you've got to be a web developer. Now, these three on the right, here at Ed, we like to sort of take away a lot of the load of those for you and let you focus on being a subject matter expert and a teacher. So instead of being a user interface designer or a user experience designer, we are template based. So that means that every interaction is customizable, but doesn't really require any code. It doesn't require any thinking about placement, layout, that sort of thing. So we're template based. That makes it very, very easy to create a really engaging lesson. You don't need to be a tester either. So because we're template based, navigation, distribution, and your user experience are taken care of in the application. And this means that no matter what you do to your lesson, it's always going to be completable by learners. So you're never going to have a roadblock halfway through. There's never going to be any issues depending on what device learners take it on. We have responsive design with templates that are being used, hundreds and thousands of times every day. So the testing's taken care of. In regards to that, navigation's also taken care of with our native app and web app. And you also don't need to be a web developer. You don't need to know a single line of code to make an ed lesson. And on top of that as well, to brand your lessons is completely effortless. So you simply drag and drop an image, and it's very, very simple to brand up a lesson, get some custom branding in there. Really, really simple and easy. Let's just go over the key ingredients of Ed, and what this leads into is some new features and our sort of philosophy we've brought to the table in developing these new features. So the first key ingredient would be agile on-time lessons with rapid authoring, and we've got some great new rapid authoring features to show off to you today. Also, bite-sized, engaging content, and our content today, our new features today, really sort of allow you to focus on creating the best bite-sized, engaging content. You also, we love to give our learners frequent reminders of new content, so notifications. But also, that being said, we love to release our lessons frequently and be agile. And a lot of the rapid authoring features that we're going to be talking about today really help you do that. So let's just go over the three lab features that I'm going to show off for you today. First of all is Cloud Translate. So that enables you to quickly and easily translate a lesson. The next one is Import from URL, which allows you to import some content and images from any URL online. And the next is Import from PowerPoint, which allows you to do a similar thing for PowerPoint presentation. So I'm sure you're all very excited to see these features, so I'll just jump straight in. The first one that we're going to talk about today is translations. Now, we found with a lot of our clients that they have a real struggle with translations. So translating your e-learning content is currently a very difficult process. It can take weeks to get a really good translation of your e-learning content. And this slows down the delivery of your content to market by a large extent. That really takes away from any sort of agility and any sort of speed to market for multiple markets. So if you've got multilingual markets, it can be very difficult to get your lessons out to learners in a very fast amount of time. So the other thing is translation is expensive. It can add thousands of dollars to your e-learning content development bill. So we've taken these things into consideration when we've come up with this feature, which is it's Cloud Translate. This basically uses Google's neural machine translation, and that enables you to translate your lesson, the text content of your lesson from English into one of over 100 languages. And by using the Google Neural Machine Translation, we're actually encoding by sentence, not by individual word. So it works best on context-heavy lessons, but it works great on all lessons, really, because it does take the whole lesson into consideration when it's translating. So a lot of those words that you'll find throughout that have been a bit mistranslated, I'm sure we've all seen them, some mistaken translations. It really works well for those. So I might as well just jump into a demonstration of it for you. So over here we've got our authoring tool. On the left is our fully interactive preview panel. And we can see that we've got quite a bit of text in this lesson. Now what we can do as well is preview that on different devices so we can see exactly how it's going to look no matter what device our learners are using. In the middle here, we've got our configuration panel. So what we can do here is anything we edit is immediately reflected on the left on the preview panel. So our configuration for each slide appears here. And over here on the right, we've got our slide navigator. So we can quickly jump between slides. In this lesson currently, we've got 2 slides and an exit slide. So what I'm going to do is we've got this technical diagram here. And what I'm going to do is just make a quick reinforcement about that technical diagram, just so we can show that this is translating the course as it is live. So I'm going to come over here to our template library, which has over 50 templates, which are really, really useful for knowledge transfer. We've got multiple choice questions in there, number questions, relationships like drag to match, games, that sort of thing. But we're going to jump over here to concepts, which is really useful for reinforcing key brand messages. I'm just going to add one of these templates here. And the point that we're reinforcing today is that these headphones are manufactured with a neodymium magnet. So we're just going to copy and paste that sentence in there, and then I'm just going to type neodymium as a something to reinforce a key message of this lesson. And as a distractor, I'm just going to write fridge, so fridge magnet, which is obviously the wrong answer, just for the sake of simplicity. I'm just going to erase the other 2 for the sake of time. And immediately we can test this reinforcement. I'm just going to hit OK, I'm done, as if I was a learner. And sure enough, it says I'm correct. And then I'm just going to edit that answer feedback so it actually reinforces the correct answer of the lesson, of the reinforcement. So what we've got here is a completely working exercise, completely working activity. And that works throughout our lesson as well. So that right there, it's a very short lesson, but it's immediately distributable to learners. Just going to press save on that. And then we're going to jump over here into the course configuration panel. I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to click my Cloud Translate Course button. And what's going to immediately appear is a very simple dialog box. Translate this course. You pick a locale. And as you can see here, we've got over 100 languages to choose from. And so, a multitude of languages. What I'm going to choose today is Chinese. So we're just going to have a look how the platform deals with multiple character sets. I'm going to press translate this course. And immediately I get a button that says access this translated course. As you can see, it's translated that lesson that we've just made into Chinese. I'm going to be able to jump back into that editor. And we'll be able to see the lesson as it is in Chinese. Now, of course, it translates, 80 to 90% accuracy. You're still going to have a native speaker go through this and have a look, make sure that, everything makes sense, that, your message has been carried across. But what we're trying to do here is take you to the finish line. And really, get as much of the job done as possible, most of the grunt work done. It's 80 to 90% of the way there, and it really just needs someone to go through and fix it up. So as you can see, all this text has been translated really, really quickly, simply and easy. So I'm just going to come back here to summarize. So yeah, as I said, 80 to 90% translated, ready to be reviewed by a native speaker before going to market. Really only takes seconds to make a working translated copy of your entire course. And using our simple review permissions or authoring permissions, you can give your target language native speaking reviewer some permissions for them to review the translation, and you can get it turned around in days instead of weeks, which is it's a really exciting feature for a lot of our clients, and we're really excited to share it with you today. If you did have any questions on the machine translation feature, please feel free to type them in. I'd be happy to get to them at the end of the presentation. But we're going to move on now to some rapid content authoring features. Something we found here at Ed is that a large portion of the world's information is locked forever within web pages and PowerPoint presentations. And what you probably want to do is be able to get that into your employees' hands or your learners' hands in a really easily and simple way. And what we wanted was a way to quickly import content from these URLs and these PowerPoint presentations into courseware. So what we've come up with is import content from URL or PowerPoint. And what this does is it allows you to import the content of a URL or a PowerPoint presentation quickly, and that includes images and text. It can save hours of time in content development, and imported content can be easily organized and edited, as I've just demonstrated with our rapid authoring tool. So I've just got a demonstration here of that. The other day, Apple brought out iOS 12, or at least a preview of it. And we've got an article here that really gives you a great rundown of it. Now, say you work at a technology retailer, you want to make a really quick lesson for your learners about the new iOS so they can talk about the main points with customers. But you want to get it out as fast as possible. You've got customers coming in asking about it every day. What are the features? So what you can do is just grab this URL. I'm just going to copy it here. And as you can see, there's a lot of images in this article. There's headings, so our engine's going to know how to split it up into different slides. And I've just got this lesson that I've branded up with some nice Apple branding, really simply and easily with our branding engine. And I'm just going to press, instead of add a new slide, I'm just going to go down here and press import content from URL. It's going to ask me up here just to put in that URL. Of course, this is preview software, so the interface isn't quite there yet, but we just wanted to show this off as quickly as possible. So over here on the right, as we can see, it's separated out that article into separate slides. So firstly, we've got excuse me. So it's separated it out into different slides. So as you can see, it's imported some of those images into the lesson and it's put them in the right place. Of course, this isn't 100% there. This isn't completely the finished lesson as you'd want to distribute it to learners. But what it's done as well is held your hand until the finish line, where you can go in, you can be that subject matter expert, you can be that teacher, and you can curate that content for your learners and let them see what you want them to see without having to worry about copying and pasting or putting images in. If you were to distribute this lesson as it is, of course it would completely work, but there are just simply no reinforcements. So what you can do is just add your reinforcements in. You can add a multiple choice slide in there, really, really simply and easily. You just put them, intersperse them throughout the lesson. So it's a really exciting feature. The other thing we want to show off is this import from PowerPoint feature. So I have this course on responsible alcohol service. So what I'm going to do, instead of pressing import content from URL, I'm going to import content from a PowerPoint. Now I'll just show you this PowerPoint before it gets imported. Basically, it's some images, some dot points, that sort of thing. It's a pretty straightforward PowerPoint, but what you want to do is really just grab those images and those dot points and put them straight into an Ed lesson. So we'll just wait for that to upload. Of course, it's going to take a couple more seconds than a URL, but here we go. Here we can see that entire PowerPoint has been imported into Ed, including all the images And it's really ready for you to then go in and curate that content, make it as best you can. It's a really exciting feature. It's going to really hold your hand until that finish line and get your lesson, 80 to 90% there, save you many, many hours of content development. And so that's a really exciting feature that we've got in the works here in the lab at the moment. So I'm just going to come back and summarize that feature. So, our solution allows you to insert into a lesson all the images, text, and other content from your source material without copying or pasting. It's ready to be edited. It only takes seconds, as we've just seen, to import content from either a PowerPoint file or a URL. And it also gives your subject matter expert access to edit and finalize the lesson directly in Ed with our rapid authoring tool. So there's some really exciting features. I'd be happy to take any questions that you have, more than happy.